Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got tacos and tech is on smash. For the green, guacamole, keep accountants counting beans. Contador cuentan frijoles, founders trying to raise some queso. La vida San Diego, school of rappy, rapping fire. Tortillas round jalapenos. In these modern times of craft beer and coffee, my coding yoga posse, fold the body, origami. We be surfing Coronado, eating tacos el gordo. The taco stand in puesto, lucha libre and sombrero. Gotta shout out Tecos, Angels by the ocean, watch the sunset. La Jolla shores, entrepreneurs trying to get funded. When San Diego Startup Week is popping in the summer, Oceanside to Tijuana, SD be full of hustlers. From couch surfing to penthouses right on the beach. Tech leaders who believe stars are within reach. We interviewing founders who be shooting for the moon. Hashtag SD Tecos with your host, Neal Bloom. Come on! Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got it, hey! Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got it, hey!
Well, hello everyone. Hello Fred, how you doing?
Hey Neal, doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks. We are testing out, trying to do this pod live, so it'll still be pushed out and published, and it also you can tune in and join the chat if you like, which we've already got Ryan Cooter live chatting with us, asking about Fred's background. So it's real. We know the office it was taken that Fred took the photo at and tweeted about. Event coming soon. Maybe you'll be there too, Ryan. Well, welcome everyone to This Week in San Diego Tech. Your co-hosts with the most, Neal and Fred. I'm Neal. I run everything startup ecosystem related. Events, pods, champion of all founders, and investor through Interlock Capital. And this is my co-host, Fred Grier.
And I'm Fred Grier, journalist here in San Diego, covering the tech and startup scene. Also help advise some companies in San Diego, and awesome just be back here with Neal to talk about the biggest headlines, startup funding scoops in San Diego.
Yes, and if you followed along from our pod from last week, we were hyping and so stoked for the new March Madness NCAA bracket, which had 4 different San Diego teams in it. We had SDSU and UCSD's men's and women's teams poised to go into the bracket. And 1 week later, no one's left, unfortunately. But it was a pretty fun week watching them. SDSU kicked it off in the first 4. And then men's, and then UCSD men's had a big first game against Michigan, where they started slow. Man, I think they were down like 10 right off the bat, but then all the way down to the buzzer, we're down 3 and looked like they were maybe gonna get it out. Should you tune into some of the game there?
Yeah, I've been following it like a lot on Twitter and X, people call it, national press on UCSD men's basketball that I've ever seen. And it seems like the whole city of San Diego was rooting for UCSD to win. Sucks that they didn't make it to the next round, but the fact that they made it this far, first year eligibility, I think it's just great for the city, and just what a year for collegiate basketball. We had both men's and women's make it to the March Madness tournament, and I thought it was just a win for San Diego sports. Obviously, with San Diego Wave and the now San Diego Football Club, there's just a lot of momentum building in San Diego sports, and it's exciting to see for sure.
Yeah, so we love it. Fred and I are obviously Triton alum, It's fun to have a sport to root from your alma mater. I know Ryan Cooter's got a lot that he's been celebrating over the years with his Hoyas, but it's nice to feel the D1 love here from UCSD. But we got plenty of else to talk about. Other news in that kind of hit our desk is local CPG company Pura Vida which was acquired by Vera Wang, I think 5 years ago. You might have the deeper details there. For nearly $100 million, was resold for $1 million. Oh, this one hurt. Even in my own gut, I felt it. Just feeling for the founders. Who two local founders, I believe they started this pretty much on a graduation trip from SDSU. They went out to I think Costa Rica, fell in love with the locals' bracelets and the local craft scene on the beach of taking ocean trash and turning it into a product. And they decided, let's make a business out of this. And so they connected local artisans in different countries to make crafts, largely started in bracelets, and built a nearly $100 million business out of it. I believe all bootstrapped all the way to an exit to a luxury good, Vera Bradley. So, I know they had a good exit off of that. And then to see your baby, get pretty much operated into the ground, it's got to hurt. So I reached out to one of the co-founders, just be like, how you feeling today? What's your take? And yeah, it was pretty much that feeling. He was bummed to see how it had been operated over recent years, and it didn't surprise him to see that, which is still a bummer. But shout out to the two entrepreneurs everywhere who build something beautiful, have an exit, and still, it's still your baby. So what was your take here when you saw it, Fred?
Yeah, it's funny. We're just talking about, how do we come across this news? I believe another local San Diego founder was the one who tweeted it out on X yesterday. Jimmy Kim from SimLane, who's another kind of tech consumer founder in San Diego, who's now in Austin, I believe. There's some companies leaving San Diego, with some coming in, and he tweeted about it, the company being sold. Yeah, we profiled Pura Vida in San Diego a while ago, and Neal, your memory's pretty well. Yeah, they were completely bootstrapped before they were acquired by a bigger firm, the Pure Bracelets, which is a publicly traded company. And yeah, they were founded in 2010, and SDSU alums. I had a meeting today with a venture capital investor who is a UCSD alum. He works with another guy at SDSU, and we were talking about how SDSU probably has created more successful consumer companies than a majority of the universities in the U.S. It's fascinating. I was thinking about it. Pura Vida, Blender sunglasses, Cuts. Like, there's a lot of SDSU consumer founders, and just there's a way. It's just, I think we need to maybe do a piece on that one day. Just look at how many consumer founders have come through SDSU, because there's been some mega exits, and Pura Vida is definitely one of them. They were sold for over 100 million, and yeah, it sucks to see them being sold off. But this is the name of the game. We kind of talk about both sides: companies that are growing and scaling, but also some of them that no longer around. So yeah, sucks. But hopefully the founders I think they're still here in San Diego and investing in the community.
They are. They're investing. They're buying other businesses. Like, they're not done. So expect to see more from them soon, for sure. Pour one out for Pura Vida. Pour one out, and also for 23andMe. Other headline news of a company going bankrupt. This is, I think, relevant to San Diego because of the consumer side of genomics, which has always been a promise for San Diego to have this deep life sciences meet the consumer piece. And 23andMe, which is one of the bigs, it's them and Ancestry.com doing consumer genomics, where you can learn more about your DNA and your family past and your predispositions health-wise. It's always been known that you submit I think it's a cheek swab. I actually did this during COVID, and you get back data, but then they sell that data and they can use that data, and whether that's for good or for bad. And so, too bad to see another business go out, a promising life science consumer. But now there's this big cry of, hey, go delete your account to make sure that whoever ends up picking up this company out of bankruptcy doesn't get your data. And all I have to say is it's out there already. I'm going to do that, but I also feel like it's already out there. And whoever needed my DNA, you you've got it one way or another. But sad to see for sure. I know that the original founder, Anne Wojcicki, was trying to actually buy it back in a sense. It's a public company that I believe she was trying to regain control of. What was your take here around this?
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal had a nice piece on it, so we don't have to go too much in detail. But I think the 23andMe definitely was on top of headlines of this week, and San Diego does have ties to similar companies. It's unfortunate to see this outcome, but there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from this, and hopefully the next generation of these types of companies will take I don't know protecting customers' data more seriously, because this is a pretty big issue, and I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Uh, we highlighted a big win last week, macro wise, like Wiz getting acquired by Google, which, by the way, there's some ties to obviously Silicon Valley wise, even to this week's 23andMe. Like we said, we like to cover the good and the bad and be able to share those connections locally as well, too. By the way, I have seen talent go through Illumina through to 23andMe and Ancestry. So this is San Diego talent that has then gone on to kind of help take the genomics learnings and take it to the kind of consumer. And I hope there's more pathways for that as well too, because we've got some of the smartest technologists and tech especially in life sciences here in San Diego. And it was cool to see people move their way into the consumer side globally in that regard too. Let's move into some other stories here. We've been following events.com for a while. Mitch Thrower is the CEO of events.com. We profiled them back in the day on Fresh Brew Tech on the active mafia, if you will. We did a 10-part series on who are the original founders of Active, where are they now? Well, events.com is a spinoff, I would say, from that. And it filed a SPAC to go public within the last year and is now on a buying spree where it is actually buying events. And Mitch said this to me when I saw him at TechCon SoCal. He spoke there and we caught up for a few seconds there. And he's like, check out the festivals we're buying, including a few in San Diego, Southern California, and globally. And I believe it's kind of part of their path towards, a public offering, if you will, to really beef up their assets, their revenue, and overall just like owning not just the software side, but owning the entire concert and event space. Super interesting from this. What are your takeaways, Fred?
Yeah, just some facts to add on to what you said. Shout out to SoCal. There's a great conference that happens once a year, bringing together kind of the CEO community and tech together in one roof. But yeah, this events.com, they were founded in 2010, and they are based in La Jolla Cove, and they have a small team, I think about 30 employees, and they're one of the leaders in this this event management space. So yeah, it's great to see that they're buying up some companies. There's been a lot of M&A activity in the last like 2 weeks or so. I think there was a pause, about last month, and we're starting to see resurgence. And I'm seeing headlines that deal making is back. I would say for life sciences, we're not seeing that, but we're seeing a lot more activity on the tech side, M&A. So I expect to see that more frequent. And I wonder how that's going to impact other sectors like consumer. We saw Poppy get acquired by Pepsi, which we talked about in the last pod. But life science, I haven't seen too many M&A headlines, so we'll keep following that closely.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting here for a software company to what they detail as is really understand. They're buying festivals to kind of understand the customer life cycle. So for them, they bought Wonderfront Festival, they bought the Temecula Hot Air Balloon Festival, and for them, it's really more to understand all the different ways that the software can service the customer, which is the concert goer and the festival organizer in that regard. So I find that interesting from an M&A perspective for them to kind of go verticalize and own the entire stack. And especially in today's day and age where everyone's claiming AI is going to eat everything, for them to actually go and buy physical assets, a festival where people go to, and they're a software. I see some similarities there, right? It's like maybe their software is going to, they're going to need to buff up the assets in that regard. So anyway, just kind of interesting to watch. I agree on the M&A side. Last year, this time, we were already talking about the $1 billion local life science deals. Haven't seen them yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll keep an eye on what that means for the rest of the ecosystem in that regard. Some news that both hit us also to our gut a little bit is Natalie Rocha, the UT small business, startup, life science reporter, is leaving the Union Tribune for a New York Times fellowship. I know this has been a peer of yours for a while, Fred. I'll let you kind of take us through what this means for the community.
Yeah, so Natalie Rocha is a reporter at the San Diego Union Tribune, and she announced yesterday that she's actually transitioning. She's joining the New York Times on a fellowship, and it was great to see some folks in the comments. I think you commented, Neal, and Mike Crin, and other folks who have read and participated in Natalie's work. I think the takeaway for me is there's been a lot of people who've been covering San Diego startup scene. Brittany Myling comes to mind, Mike Freeman from UT. We have Jared Whitlock, who's now at Stat News, and Jonathan Wilson from Stat News as well, or at the Endpoints. And I think San Diego has a lot of talented journalists that cover the startup scene, tech, life science, and they all go on to do bigger and better things. But it does leave a hole in the San Diego coverage, and it's really important. I think that's why we're doing this podcast. We want to showcase kind of the good companies that are happening here. But just shout out to Natalie for her promotion and her next gig. We're all excited for her next chapter. And yeah, it was great to work alongside her at the Business Journal. Seemed like a couple years ago, but I think it was about 5 years ago. And time flies.
Time does fly, and it is, it's a bummer to have great talent who has this industry expertise and Rolodex. Yes, she's not going far, but seemingly she is, and you just kind of worry about a little bit of the atrophy of the coverage and the connections and really the context piece to tell a story of like not just what happened today and last week and last year, but over time, And so, yeah, I'm glad we're doing this as well too. I'm glad, Fred, you've established your own independent voice as a reporting mechanism with your Substack. And even with Fresh Brewed Tech, when we did Tech Mafia pieces, we brought back a Andreas Eisma, a reporter from the 90s and early 2000s, so that she could give us the context to write those stories. So I hope we can, Natalie and Brittany and Mike and all of them aren't too far for when we need, the full story and the full picture. That's for sure. But Natalie, congrats. We're rooting for you, and go do their thing with New York Times, and then come right back and run the Union Tribune. I'd say come do that. Let's talk about your story you put out this week on your Substack about Entos Pharmaceuticals, a Carlsbad-based company, I believe, who's doing some expansion globally. Take us through that.
Yeah, so we'll link all these in the show notes. And but for people who don't know, we did a piece last week. Entos Pharmaceuticals, they're doing a 137 million facility in Canada. This is a company that was started in San Diego. They partnered with Eli Lilly, and basically they were partnering with Canada and Alberta to create a broader facility investment. And this is a brand new facility. I think it's going to be about 103,000 square feet, and they're focused on genetic medicine. And I think this story really resonated with the audience. So yeah, I interviewed the CEO. He is former Scripps, and it's great to just see some kind of biotech momentum coming up in San Diego. And they're going to be hiring in that facility in Canada about 90 staffers. And he said maybe an IPO might be in the works if the timeline opens up for them. So yeah, definitely a company to watch in the life science space in San Diego.
Awesome. Love to see it. Love to see companies doing well and expanding. Speaking of companies doing well and expanding, there's another news article out there on an aerospace startup doing some expansion as well too around Natilus. You want to take us through their latest press release?
Yeah, so it's good to get some tech news as well. So Natilus is a defense tech company that has become kind of a leader in this space. I talked to one of the co-founders yesterday. We have a story in the works, but basically they're in the market for I think, 250,000 facility for their aircrafts. And we'll have more details on that, but they pretty much have a national-wide search. They were looking to do a facility or some kind of expansion in San Diego, but talking to one of the co-founders, they decided that there was I think better opportunity for them elsewhere. Neal, we were talking kind of offline on, there's always things behind the scenes on why things work out, why things don't. I would be curious on if you have some perspective on why they're deciding to do a facility outside of San Diego versus here.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. I'll make sure I walk the fine line because I'm an investor. Interlock Capital invested in Natilus a year ago. They started really as a brand new plane company, cargo focused, and their whole big brand entirely is we're going to rebuild the cargo fleet of the world through building cargo planes that are regional, domestic, and international. So meaning they could go 1 to 2 hours, 5 to 7 hours, and 12 to 15 hours based on distance and really capacity, volumetric capacity of cargo. And so that was where they've been working on, built, and really their big audacious goal is replace Boeing as the commercial plane company of the world, and which has kind of come to fruition over the last year now. They've had airlines approach them, not just from a cargo angle, but saying, we need some passenger planes as well too. We all have seen the news about Boeing having some hard times, and people are trying to diversify their fleet, and they approached Natilus about a passenger plane as well too, which is demand for Natilus, which is great, but they need to grow. And so right now they're based in South County at the airports escape me all of a sudden, but it's down there in like kind of the Otay Mesa area. It's really not much in use. It's actually used more by military, where F-16s, F-18s are actually landing for refills. When I was there one day, a C-130 cruised through. They use it for SEAL team kind of jumping, I think, as well. And if Natilus builds what it says is going to build, it is going to need some huge manufacturing capacity, and they need therefore kind of their own Everett Field, which is where Boeing's headquarters. They need their own airport, manufacturing line, and facilities to work on that. And so they've been reaching out to the city of San Diego, I know, to say, hey, what's your appetite for expanding this airport, because the city of San Diego owns it, where they are currently a tenant at. And I hope we can find a way to keep them here, because they moved to San Diego for the assets, both physical and talent in San Diego. And I know they would love to be forever a San Diego company that builds the next great generation of hardware for the world. So
yeah, just to add to that too, we're seeing companies becoming more distributed. He did say they're going to have a growing presence in San Diego. They have a downtown office, I believe. But we're seeing companies get started in San Diego and they're expanding. And sometimes they have opportunity to a better opportunity to do a facility elsewhere. Maybe it's tax reasons or etc. But we're seeing the founders and some of these engineering teams are based in San Diego, but they tend to expand. We saw Too Simple CEO started a new company. He's now in Austin. I think San Diego is a great launching pad for businesses, but as they reach and scale, the challenge is trying to get them to stay and grow. And so it's definitely going to be a growing trend that I think over time.
Yeah, totally. I agree. But, we should fight for as much as we can here. Manufacturing is, especially advanced manufacturing, is tough from a salary perspective when there are, cheaper labor elsewhere. But they happen to be, I looked it up, brownfield. They couldn't be closer to Mexico. Literally, you can see Tijuana and the Tijuana airport from their hangar. Let's make something happen here, San Diego. Let's keep the company growing here in San Diego. So that's the call out, I would say, to San Diego to help our companies continue to build great companies here. That's our stories that hit our desk this week. We love that you guys are sharing stuff with us. I mean, honestly, we get all of our stories from you, from either you're building good companies or you reach out to me or Fred on any platform you can think of, email, X, LinkedIn. It all happens in the DMs, that's for sure. As always, we're out in the community at events, including tonight. We will be at March Mingle, mingling it up. I think it's year 20, by the way, of March Mingle. Falon and June have been running it for, I think, 15 or 16 of those years. So, and every year they find a really cool venue to do it at, which is the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park. They're taking over a whole floor. Come party with dinosaurs and sharks and the tech ecosystem, which should be really fun. Before that, though, I will actually be presenting, or I think giving a public opinion at the Escondido City Council in support of the AgX Hub, which is up for vote, I believe, soon, to build out a 110,000 square foot agriculture technology physical campus that will bring in the farming community and the science and the CPG community all under one roof, whether it's co-packing, co-cooking, and a full-time dedicated farmers market, and then other facilities for farmers to make sure that they keep their farms locally as well too. So I'm throwing my hat behind that. Obviously, y'all have been seeing the AgX events we've been doing for a while. So to see the city have momentum on that is pretty awesome. And I'm going to go show up and speak at a city council event, which I don't do very regularly. As always, the events you can find, you know where to find them, the Social Coyote. That's where we find all of our events that are going on, unless it's an event that Fred and I are putting on, then it's invite only. But March Mingle coming up. Startup San Diego has got a co-working day this Friday, March 28th at the Downtown Works in Little Italy, which is super cool to see. Happened to have run into Wolf, owner of Downtown Works, this morning at a little breakfast event that I had. And I love to see in-person co-working days coming together, which is things that we've been testing as well. We did Founder Build Day last week in 2 different parts of the community. Next month, we'll have 3 different parts of the community doing Founder Build Day, all on the same day, 3rd Thursday of the month. So I just love seeing people who want to build in person together, which is another event happening next week, the Bootstrappers event by Jonah at Social Coyote and Ross at, oh man, all of a sudden, Ross, don't hate me, forgetting the name of your company for a second here. But the Bootstrappers event, April 1st, bringing together people who are building tech, but bootstrapping it for right now, all at a private house, which should be cool. Any other events on your radar, Fred, you got coming up?
Yeah, I would just give a shout out to Hussein, who runs North County Mixer, and he also runs a website called, I think, mystartupbeach.com or startupbeach.com, which is, a platform that allows anyone to host events in San Diego or in different cities. And I think we saw an event being held earlier this week. It was at Harlan Brewing in Mission Valley area. And so we're seeing, happy hours and different events spring up across San Diego, from North County to downtown, to Chula Vista, to La Jolla Del Mar. I recommend connecting to super connectors like Neal, myself, others. There's great organizations that have been serving the community for a long time. Connect, Evo Nexus, Biocom. There is always something to do every single month for tech, life science, consumer, and we'll continue to share those events as they come up.
Let me just give a shout out to Brian Lamb for starting that San Diego Mixer. It really is a spinoff from Hussein's North County Mixer. Brian and many others have been very dedicated in driving north month over month to the Mixer in Leucadia at the Leucadia Inn. And Brian's, through his first, and what I love is that it's the start of a consistency. So right there on the spot, we were like, all right, when's the next one? Next date, set, and recurring, here we go. And I've seen just more and more event leaders step forward saying, I want to do this, and and they'll do it once as a test and get the feedback and learn and tweak and continue doing it, which is awesome, right? As the founder way. So shout out to Brian Lamb for stepping up and doing that. Also, last night was the hardware meetup that I stopped in at. It was C-Comp and a bunch of other hardware leaders in the community put an event on in Vista, which was cool to see. Shout out to Miles as well, who has a machine shop down in Barrio Logan, who went all up to Vista to co-host that event. So lots going on for every flavor, every founder, every stage, and get out there and show up in the community, because we see you all. So thank you. Fred, as always, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in for our first live. Shoot us a note if you like this, and we'll keep doing it if you like it. And if not, we'll tweak it. We'll keep moving forward as well. So thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure, Neal.
Thanks, Brad. Bye, everyone.
Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got tacos and tech is on smash. Butter green, guacamole, keep accountants counting beans. Contador cuentan frijoles, founders trying to raise some queso. La vida San Diego, school of rapping fire. Tortillas round jalapenos. In these modern times of craft beer and coffee, my coding yoga posse, fold the body, origami. We be surfing Coronado, eating tacos el gordo. The tacos stand in puesto, lucha libre and sombrero. Gotta shout out Tecos Daniels by the ocean, watch the sunset. La Jolla shores, entrepreneurs trying to get funded. When San Diego Startup Week is popping in the summer, Oceanside to Tijuana, SD be full of hustlers. From couch surfing to penthouses right on the beach. Tech leaders who believe stars are within reach. We interview and found Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got it. Hey. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos.